If you've been enjoying our podcast as much as we have and hope that we continue past 50 episodes, here's your chance. Here's your chance to help make that happen. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, not only will you help the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary podcast to live on, but you'll also get exclusive content just for you.
Here's what's in store for you. Join monthly Q&A sessions where you can ask us about anything. Whether it's about our work, personal interests, or advice on your own projects, we're here to connect and share.
Enjoy unique content created specifically for Patreon subscribers, including bonus segments from our shows.
You'll have a say in what we create, and you'll have a voice in future content.
Benefit from exclusive discounts on merchandise and entries into special giveaways. It's our way of saying thank you for your support.
Receive personalized shout-outs in videos, podcasts, or social media posts.
Because your support on Patreon allows us to dedicate more resources to creating the content that you love.
You could join the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast community on Patreon and become a Prairie patron for just $5 a month. We thank you so much for your continued support, and we cannot wait to share our ongoing journey with you on Patreon.
We are extremely grateful for the support of VisitSimiValley.com and the city of Simi Valley's belief in Little House on the Prairie and their support of the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
Discover the charm of Simi Valley, California, the home of the Prairie. Visit Simi Valley, where adventure meets history and the spirit of the Prairie comes alive. Explore the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, step aboard Air Force One, enjoy stunning hikes and savor delicious local cuisine. Whether you're here for a weekend getaway or a family vacation, Simi Valley offers something for everyone and is only 30 minutes from Los Angeles. Plan your visit today and experience the best of Simi Valley. Go to VisitSimiValley.com for more details. Your adventure awaits in Simi Valley.
Hello, Bonnetheads. How are you? I am Pamela Bob, your host, creator of Living on a Prairie, and I am here as always with our favorite Prairie bitch. That's right, it's Allison Arngrim. Hello, scary face. I am also here with our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. You all know and love him. That's right, Dean Butler. How are you, Dean Almanzo?
Yes, thank you, Pamela. And, nice to see you both.
Nice to see you both too. Now,
good to be here.
Yes,
it's an early morning for us.
Well, it's not for me. Holla, New
York
City. No.
Well, yeah, but it's an early morning for us.
It is for you guys, I know. Anyway, we're going to keep this intro short and sweet because today we have such an exciting guest, and it's one that the fans have been asking for, I think, for decades, quite frankly. And yes, and we've got him here today, and we're so excited for one of the most profound episodes of the entire Little House series. So, I'll get right to it. Let's do it. From the studios of UBN Go in Burbank, California, this is the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast. Let's do this thing! Okay. Dean, do you want to say what episode and season we are recapping today?
Yeah, so this is what we're talking. The episode that we're going to talk about today is, I think, really one of those very defining episodes of the entire Little House series in terms of its ability to talk about difficult issues with heart and with empathy. And so it makes it one of the most beloved episodes in the history of the series. Yeah. Today, from season 3, episode 18, we are talking about the wisdom of Solomon. No. It premiered on March 7th, 1977, written by Scott Swanton, directed by William F. Claxton. Bill was a wonderful director. Oh, yeah. here's the synopsis. Allison,
Official
tell us what this is about.
synopsis of this incredible episode is: yearning to escape the hard life that sent his father to an early grave, the young son of Mississippi sharecroppers makes his way to Walnut Grove. Wait, not all the way from Mississippi. They'd moved to Mankato, okay? Didn't go from Mississippi to Walnut Grove. From Mississippi sharecropper makes his way to Walnut Grove and offers to sell himself to the Ingalls family in exchange for an education.
This episode reaches out and grabs you from the second it begins. There's really no wind up. We are right into this.
Yep.
So let's bring our guest in.
All right. This episode had an unforgettable guest star playing the role of Solomon, and he's here with us today. We are so happy to welcome Todd Bridges. Hi, Todd Bridges.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys?
Hey, Todd.
Hey.
Thrilled, absolutely thrilled that
Thank
you're
you
joining
so
us.
much. I appreciate it. I remember
Chuck.
when I first came on the set, I remember that how I thought Allison was so mean because watching her character,
Yes.
you know what I mean? I was like, geez, freaking, I don't want to talk to that girl. She's mean.
Yes. I did my job. Yes.
You did. You did your job well. You made us think that you were mean.
Did
how
I
was she?
give you a good welcome to the set? Did we?
Yes, you did. You did.
Yes.
And I wasn't nervous anymore after that. But then as soon as they said action, she was like,
The look I give you when you first walk into the school.
Yes,
The look.
yes.
I am like the most just evil
Oh, yeah.
thing. Just like.
I think my favorite line though in that movie was from your the lady who played your mother when Mr. Ingalls says "Oh no, this is from my previous marriage," and then she goes,
Yes.
"Nellie," runs off. It's one
So
of my
good.
favorite lines in that show.
I love that you also called it a movie because
It was like
I mean,
a movie.
Little House was always
Yeah.
so cinematic, but
Yeah.
this one in particular
Yeah.
really was like it could have been a
Yeah.
standalone movie.
It definitely could have been. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
How old were you when you did this episode?
It was 19. What you said, 1977?
Yeah.
I think I was 12, maybe 11, maybe 9. I don't remember. Geez, that's a long time ago. I would have to calculate it now. My brain's not going to work that way.
Well, I'm curious, Todd, how you go about preparing for something like this, because this is what we're talking about in the episode. We're talking about emancipation, slavery, and the coming of rights, the deprivation of rights for African Americans at that point. We were talking before we came on that, there was a lot of television. Good Times was on, and, the Red Fox show, Sanford and Son was on, and there was a different approach to how all these issues were being talked about, but it was done in a sort of, the humor.
Yeah.
The humor was the way of hiding all the pain.
Yeah.
This put the pain frame one right in your face. And it was right in your face.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was definitely right in your face, for sure.
So how do you, what's the process for you? Or what are you just allowing
that show? For me, I think I was a dramatic actor by nature. So that came pretty easy to me. I think my favorite line in the show was when I said, "Answer me something, sir." I said, "Would you like to be black and live to be 100 or white and live to be 50?" And that music they put in, dun, dun, and Mike was like, "Nope, I don't want to be black." I'm sure he was thinking that.
What did we say right before it came on? We were talking about, then she said, David Rose. We said David Rose is the devil. David Rose, that music made you cry.
Yes.
You put that music, and you're
It
just like,
does.
"No, I can't stand it. I can't stand it."
Yes.
And you even
Title card.
yes.
Oh yeah.
The title card when
Oh,
of the
yeah.
episode when that comes up and that sad haunting piano.
Oh yeah.
music comes.
He had
I
the
mean,
best
it's
music
like,
written for that show, for sure.
My
For
God.
sure.
But then your beautiful angelic face with those beautiful sparkling eyes, you just
thank you.
just captivated all of us, and there is not a false, phony moment in the entire
No,
performance.
it wasn't.
You're so good.
It starts from the first second. I mean, that was the thing that got me. I thought, okay, I forgot to say. I watched it last night. The second you appear on screen and the first words out of your mouth, you're like, "Oh no, this poor child, ow!" And it's like extraordinarily painful.
Oh yeah.
And then it doesn't stop. How
No, it
the
goes for
heck?
the jugular and
How
keeps
did you keep
going.
Yeah.
that up? How did you keep that up?
Like I
Fully
said,
aware.
I was fully aware because my mom had taught me how to be an actor, and everything I had done up to that point was all dramatic. I had done no comedy shows before that. Everything was dramatic. I think my first comedy show after that was Fish. I was on Fish for 3 seasons, and
Okay.
then and the only reason why that got canceled because back then Abe Vigoda wanted more money, and they didn't give you more money back then. They just canceled the show.
Wow.
But lucky that happened
He was so
because
terrific. Oh
I
my
ended up going
goodness.
in and meeting with Robert Brogliotti for Different Strokes. And what was weird was I was telling somebody this the other night. I had actually had 3 shows. It was weird. I had got Different Strokes, I had got the Mickey Mouse Club, and I had got what was the other one? Oh, it wasn't called Mork and Mindy. It was called Mork from Ork. And yeah, that was the original name and title of the show. And Mork lived in the attic of this black kid who lived with his grandmother. So
What?
luckily, I made the right choice because those shows, Mork and Mindy, Mork from Ork changed to Mork and Mindy, and where are the Little House people? You know what I mean? I mean, not Little House people. Where are the Mickey Mouse Club? Where
Right,
are they?
right.
Right.
So
Oh yeah.
so I made a great choice. That was a great,
Score.
great choice. Yeah, that was a great score. Definitely.
Can I ask you, do you remember your audition for this episode?
Yeah, I do remember my audition when I went in and read for that. I think it was a lady I was reading for,
Hmm.
and I
Susan
had,
Sukman was
yeah,
her
I
name.
had everyone crying. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was definitely, I could definitely bring the tears. I could
Yeah.
bring them.
Well, the thing is that what you brought, and I mean, there are
But I will
certainly
tell you this:
where you
Little House,
but you played it so straight.
yes,
You were
but
playing
Little
it
House
so
messed up.
honestly.
Just so you know, Little House messed up my vocabulary. Just so you know,
Oh,
Yes.
how so?
I was straight A student, had a great vocabulary. My mom had to teach me how to talk bad.
No,
Oh,
the
to do that
grammar, right?
episode?
1800 sharecropper illiterate
Yes,
child.
yes.
Right,
Who's
right,
the
So,
right.
so
atrocious grammar?
I could give the Little House for changing my grammar.
Oh, it's all our fault. Oh God.
It's okay though, but it was funny though.
Had you met the actors that played your mother and your brother? Was that part of the
Yeah,
audition
I
process
had
or?
known the one that played my mother. Yes, I didn't know the one that played my brother, but the one that played my mother, I'd worked with her on a few shows.
Oh, God, she was wonderful too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We're still crying from last night.
I know. We're still not over it. Every time I see this episode,
Oh
it's
yeah,
like re-traumatizing yourself.
it's a tearjerker. You can't get away from it. And the crazy part about it is, it falls into line of what's going on today. It really
Well,
How?
I was
does.
just
It
yes,
really does.
Were you aware that during the pandemic, Snoop Dogg was tweeting about this episode in 2020 and it
Yeah.
This thing
launched
went
like this
viral.
press explosion?
Yeah, because I do a lot of stuff that I always see Snoop Dogg, and he always comes, "I love that episode. You were the best." So he always tells me that. So calls me his little brother, but of course he's my little brother because I'm
Oh,
older than him. So
are you really?
oh.
yeah, we
Yeah,
are not getting any younger, right? Ugh,
yeah. No,
getting
we're
older
frozen in
sucks.
time at
Yeah,
yeah. That's
Yeah.
wild.
yeah,
I would like to say that no, it's great. You're so wise, and no, it's it's
yeah.
tough getting older.
It
It
is.
really is.
My mom was absolutely right. Yeah, I lost my mom last year, and
Oh, sorry.
oh yeah,
That's
but
right.
she
No,
was
I
like
remember.
very instrumental in my career as far as me being the actor that I was. And it's interesting because now finally things are being, I'm starting to move forward again a lot and things in my career again. And it took a little time. So I was glad that I had enough of a break, especially 2 years to spend time with my mom. She lived with me and my wife in Arizona for 2 years. It was good. But now we're all moving forward again, doing things, which is great. And like I said, I was coming down here to work with the pastor in New Orleans, and I just had to go to the Super Bowl. Could not go. My team was in it.
Yeah, you done good.
And let me tell you, boy, all these Chief fans were leaving early. They were leaving after the third quarter. A lot of them were like, "Rah, rah."
Wow.
I was like, go ahead and leave. I'm staying.
Yeah, yeah. No, right,
Got to see
right.
the confetti.
Yeah. I'm just curious, Todd. Well, we're talking about current day. Little House. We got this information a couple of weeks ago that Little House in 2024 streamed 13.25 billion minutes.
Billion.
Wow, that's a lot.
So the equivalent of 25,000 years of streaming.
Wow, that's
In
crazy.
Man hours, as it were.
in
Yes.
Yeah.
in streaming content. Interesting statistic on this, given that we're talking to you, 17% of that audience is African American, and of course, with streaming, you can know it's no longer a guess. You can know exactly who's watching.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's interesting that the series. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, why you think the series. Well, it touches it's aired and loved all over the world, but it's interesting because it's never been cool. It's
Well,
not
I
the
think
cool
what
show.
makes it so wonderful is that it's a show about family. And this is what all the new comedy shows are missing. There is no show about family. You know what I mean? It's just not there anymore. And people are craving to see families. They're craving to see families with problems, families with things that fix problems, family that love each other, and I think that's in television today. That's what we're missing. We are missing family because we all have these unique families now. And the problem is you don't see it anywhere else. You look at these shows and those families are about, other stuff, not about really family oriented shows that your children can watch. You can't let your children watch almost 98%, I would say almost 99% of the shows on TV because they have little things in there that, not good for kids. So I think that Little House is probably the reason why you stream so much is that people want to see family and they want something good enough where they don't have to worry about having to watch them watch the show.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that is, Todd? You have an opinion about it?
Well, yeah, I think that the reality shows have kind of taken over, but the problem with reality shows, which you're now finding out, is there's no longevity in it.
Yeah,
No one's
right,
gonna restream Survivor for that many hours because you know who won. You're like, we know who won that. I ain't want to watch that again. But
right.
shows like Little House and the shows that I was on, you can rewatch those shows over and over again because they're funny, they're fun. But you know, even though you may know
Well,
what's the end of the show, you still get to watch the acting. You get to get the emotions to get there. And I think that's what people are missing.
Well, I think it was. I think what you're touching on, how I interpret that is these kinds of shows that we're talking about were about something
Yes.
that was real.
Yeah.
There was a foundation
Hmm.
of reality, real reality
Yeah.
in them that it's one of the reasons we always talk about Little House as being this great safe place because there's something truthful, but there is a gauzy veneer around Little House at
Yeah.
times that makes it comfortable
Yeah.
to step into. It's not in your face so
Hmm.
hard. There's love and decency. There's
Yeah.
kindness. There's grace.
Oh yeah.
There's an attempt at making people want to get along with each other.
That's right.
Do better,
That's right.
kinder,
Yes.
empathetic.
Yes.
I mean, look, we have our characters that don't want to get along, but that's in strong contrast always with the Ingalls family.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That the symbol of connectedness,
Oh
of
yeah.
love, of all of those things.
Yeah, because it was the fact that my episode, Michael Landon's character, Mr. Ingalls, he was going to let, Solomon live there.
Yeah.
He was all about it. He did not care
Well,
about anything. He wanted Solomon to stay there. But,
well,
Totally.
Solomon
I'd
had that,
adopt that boy.
he had that,
Yeah.
he had that hidden secret that he didn't want to tell anybody that he had a mother. When he
Yeah.
realized that life wasn't fair, he was pissed. Then he was like, oh, when he realized that the guy was a doctor, but he was a doctor only on the Indian reservation.
Oh,
So
yes, that part.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Dr. Kane. Yeah.
Yep.
I would say though, Dean, with you saying, and it's true that Little House sort of had this soft filter. I think, except kind of for this episode, I think
Yeah.
this is the only episode that doesn't end with a happy ending.
Yeah.
It is not a happy ending.
It's not a
Right.
happy ending.
It's a necessary ending.
Yes.
Solomon needs to go back
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
to
hard
his
ending.
family.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not the ending. Well, in a sense, it is, but nothing's changed.
Right.
I guess is really what. I mean, something's changed because Solomon has grown. Solomon has become more aware of the world.
That's
He
exactly
did
right.
achieve something
Yeah.
of what he wanted, and
Yeah.
maybe you can take that home. with
Right,
you.
but does he end up going to school and becoming
Don't know
something,
that.
or does he
Well,
succumb to
don't
what
know.
he has
I think
to?
he succumbs to what he had to with his
Me
mother and
too.
brother.
Right.
Oh
I mean, you
yeah,
get the feeling that because of what he experienced with the Ingalls, and that he did get to go to school for a little bit and start learning to read, that he might somehow he does learn to read in the future, and
Yeah.
maybe
someone said he was the
he runs
invent.
the
Someone
farm.
said that Solomon was the inventor of the cotton gin machine. I'm kidding.
Sure, I'll go with that. But what amazed me too about this episode, I mean, okay, we see Mrs. Olsen, who pretty much represents how everybody felt back then.
Yes,
Yeah,
That,
right.
you know, and Paul's saying, no, it's post Civil War, Lincoln, yes, it's this, no, but it's still only the 1870s.
Right.
yeah,
And in a small town, and oh no, most people are still full on Mrs. Olsen about it at that point.
yeah.
And the look on my face, Nellie and Willie were just like vile. But it's kind of shocking because Pa is being so like, sure, oh yeah, no, you can stay here. Yeah, oh okay, heck, we'll adopt you. Reality is
Yeah.
that probably would not have been legal.
Yeah.
When he says, "Oh, my former marriage," and I'm sitting there going, "That would have been a felony because you could not have married his mother
Right.
had you
That's true.
been living with her
Yeah.
because that was against the law."
Yeah.
So Pa's jumping right ahead, but he's jumping ahead like 50, 60 years. I mean, he's going
Yeah.
for it, which he would do, which we believe we get it, but
Yeah.
it's intense because one of the things that I found that made it even more slap me in the face, painful, is your performance. And then Pa is being so nice, but every time he says, "We can do this, we can do this," I'm going, "Oh God, no, you can't. Oh my God,
Oh
what if you
yeah.
can't?"
It's all aspirational.
But what I thought was also another good scene was when I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. Was
Go ahead.
when when I started reading better than your brother. When you hit him, you're like,
Oh,
Yes, right. Billy Bird. Bird.
the look to Willie is,
yeah,
you dumber than him? No,
yes,
you do not
You know what?
understand how bad this is, Willie.
yeah,
I was
oh
watching
yeah,
this last night with my 6-year-old daughter. And it was this, it was one of the schoolroom scenes, the classroom scenes, and all the kids are just looking at you like you're an alien,
oh yeah.
which also must have been strange to film as well. I mean, you might have had those experiences actually in real life at some
I've
point,
had
but
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure.
Mm.
But my 6-year-old just looked up and she looked up at me and she said, "Why are they all treating him like an animal?" And
Wow, that's interesting.
I just sort of,
Interesting.
Yeah,
and I sort of had to explain things to her, but she just was like, "What? Why are they treating him like an animal?" And I just
yeah.
thought, wow, out of the mouth of babes,
Oh
they
yeah,
get it, and that's why this episode also. I mean, listen, we all know that there's some Little House episodes that are just purely more for a kid audience, family friendly, sweet, kind, gentle. This one is not that. However, the babies get it. They
Yeah.
get it. And how
Yes, they
important
do.
is it for them to see that
Oh,
and
yeah.
to experience that? And that's why this episode also has such a lasting, gripping, it just grips you for the rest of your life.
Sure
Quite frankly.
does.
It stays forever. It's an awesome episode. And you're so good in it. I'm just going to say that over and over.
Oh, thank you. I
So good.
appreciate that.
Pamela, let's take a quick break
All
here.
right. We're going to take a quick break, everyone. We'll be back with Todd Bridges.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you're stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Throughout the summer, take the Little House 50th Anniversary Tour at Big Sky Movie Ranch. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimiValley.com for more information. We are so grateful to visitsimiValley.com for their commitment to presenting the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
And we're back with Todd Bridges. Okay, where do we want to start? I mean, we're sort of
Well,
going
I
all
want to
over
know
the place.
how he felt about working with, what the experience was for him as a 11, 12-year-old boy working with Michael Landon.
Yeah.
Tell
And
us about that.
it was, I think, the most incredible thing was how good Michael Landon was with kids. He was good with me, and he treated me like I was just a part of the team. I wasn't really. I don't think I've had any bad experiences as a kid except for one with an adult. But everyone that I've worked with, including
Well, wait a
Conrad.
minute. Are you going to tell us
Yeah, I'm
about
gonna
that?
tell.
I
I'll tell
mean,
you who it is in a minute.
okay.
Conrad Bain was great. Abe Fagoda was great.
Good.
Let's see. Michael Landon was great. The other shows from the Walters, they were great. The only person was I did a commercial in 1976, a Bicentennial commercial
Uh-huh.
with Henry Fonda. Let me
Oh
tell you the
no.
story. So
Oh no.
you've heard a lot of things about Henry Fonda, but you didn't know what was quite true. So there's a bunch of 7 and 8 year olds, and it was a Bicentennial commercial. And first of all, I was going to be the kid beating the drum, and they go, no, no, let's give the black kid the flag. We can't have him beating the drum. It's going to be too stereotypical. So that's how the commercial started. So I ended up carrying the flag, and we're walking down this hill. Now, as 7 and 8 year olds walking down a hill, just imagine. So that means that if I was 8, that means I was 9 on Little House. That's what it means now. I was 9 on Little House. So
Okay.
walking down this hill,
Little.
and there's cow patties everywhere. So we're falling. And he just turns around and
Yeah.
goes, "You mother effer kids, you better do it right. I don't want to be here all damn day." Blah, 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 blah. And we all go, "Whoa!" We
Wow.
start crying. We start crying, right? We're just bawling our eyes. And our mother they come up there and they're like, "We're taking our kids home. We're not gonna let them work such a mean man." And they go, "No, no, no," because they already spent like $1 million on this commercial. They were like, "We've got to get this done today with these kids." So they looked at it. They told him, "You have to go and apologize." He goes, "Fine." He comes up, he goes, "Sorry, sorry, sorry." Like that. And we're like, he's so mean.
Wow.
Henry
How
Fonda
old
was
was
the
he at that
meanest
point? I mean, he had to
man to
be.
kids. He did
Henry
not like
Fonda's
kids.
mean to children. Oh
Yes.
no.
And
Never
and I
works with
remember
kids or
Jane Fonda.
dogs.
Yeah, I remember Jane Fonda, said that he was tough. And there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
don't work with children or animals. There's people who always
That's
say
right.
don't work kids and
That's
dogs, and I
right.
guess
That's what
that
they
was
say.
his.
You have to have a lot of patience when you're working with kids. Let me tell you, I got remarried and I now have a 11-year-old, 13-year-old, 17 and 20, and my oldest kids are 27 and 28, 29,
Oh my
28.
Oh my
I had
gosh.
to
gosh.
relearn patience because it is the truth. You think that you have patience, right? And then you got this 11-year-old bouncing around everywhere and you're like, sit down. You want to yell, but you can't. Because you're like sit down, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then I had to think back in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was the same way at 11 years old. I was
Yeah.
all over the place. I had so
Yeah.
much energy. I've learned not to give him sugar at night. You give him sugar, he's like a wind-up toy. Give him sugar, he's like, in and out of the room. I can't
Yeah.
sleep because you had sugar. You know,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
and
There's
and
Mom Pamela going.
Yep, yeah, exactly. And then I because I have a daughter, but she's older. I forgot what it was like to have a daughter.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, so
It
many
is different.
emotions.
What's it like to have a daughter?
So many emotions that I didn't realize. It's always something.
And it is just
I
like
could be
you think,
sitting there,
is it nurture of nature? Like they are just
yes,
born that way,
yeah.
man.
I'm sitting in
I
there,
have a
and
I
it's,
have a boy and a girl, and
yeah,
it's like the difference is insane.
yes.
And it's
I
not
have
because
said
we
so
made
many,
them.
yes. So many times I've said, "What is wrong today?" I stand the girls. This is happening. Oh, this person said this to me. I'm like, oh. I'm like, can we just? And I say, can we just have one day with nobody upset?
No drama.
They wake up in the morning. You're like, good morning. They're like, what is it? Not a good morning? Something bad happened. I
Well,
guess
you
they
never
woke up
know.
and it was bad. And he said,
Speaking of kids, Todd, how was it working with all the kids on the set? I mean, yes, there's Melissa Gilbert and Melissa Sue Anderson
yeah.
and them, but even like those scenes when you're in the schoolroom and they're all looking at you like an animal. Like, what was that
Well, it's
experience
because
like?
we were all good friends, so it was okay. Because we were
Good,
all, what I mean? Everybody was just doing their job, you know what I mean? So
good,
that was
good.
different. But I will tell you,
Even
oh,
the wipe of the finger on the
yes, I have
skin,
not seen Melissa Sue Anderson forever. I see Melissa Gilbert all the time. I talk to her all the time, but oh my gosh, the most embarrassing thing. Poor Melissa. I don't know if I should say this or not. I guess I can say it.
say
Poor Melissa
it.
Gilbert, Melissa Sue Anderson. We were doing something for NBC, a big thing for NBC, and we were walking out. I'm walking down. She's walking down, and she just unfortunately falls down the stairs. And we're like, and this is live TV.
Oh
Oh, wow.
no.
Wow.
We had to pick her up. I felt so bad. She started crying. I felt so horrible. She just fell down on national TV. It was terrible, and I felt so bad. And I love her though. They were all, like I said, there were only a certain amount of kids in the business at that time, and you knew everybody
Yeah.
because that's all there was. Wasn't a
Yeah,
lot of
and they were
us.
cycled. You saw
That's
them in
right.
all the
Yeah,
We
shows.
had
yeah,
a sort
and
of a community because we'd
we
see
did.
each other.
Yes, all the time
So
at different things, different events for the networks, and it's because I was on networks on different shows, and so I was always at some one of them because I was on a show that was dealing with something. So so I always saw all the kids from Little House, and and it was just crazy. It was a crazy fun time where, it was just kids. We just were being kids, and we had to enjoy ourselves because, I didn't know though that you grow up fast. And that's what I'm trying to tell my kids is that it comes fast. You just don't get it. It's going to come fast and you're going to grow up. Yeah.
How is the industry, if you have a sense of comparison, Todd, for you, how the industry has changed in
Well,
the
I think
years
first of
going
all, you
here?
make a hell of a lot more money now.
I right?
Some of the monies people are making, you're like, he's making what? And with the thing of like social media and all that stuff, you get a good show, you know, network don't want to pay you. Like, I don't need you. I got 80 million followers. I'm good. You know what I mean? And then they're like, wait. You know what I mean? So the bargaining power is better for us now today than it was yesterday.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. That's interesting.
because I've seen people doing 5 and 6 series. They got shows run, some show running over here, some show running over here, some show running over there, some show running over there. As long as they don't run against each other, it's fine. Nobody
Right.
cares anymore. It's just all about shows that are good.
It's true.
You know,
Right, because for you guys, if you were on contract, that's
that
it.
was
You weren't
it.
allowed to
You
do
weren't. It
anything
was
else.
like I can't tell you how many times I had offers for other shows once I was on different shows. I couldn't do them.
That's right. No
Yeah.
time
They
and
wouldn't let
like
me do them.
exclusive.
Yes,
How
yeah.
how many episodes of Different Strokes did you
Oh
do?
my gosh, we did 8 years of it. But we would have
Okay.
Jeez.
done more. It was okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
thing is, the show should have. We got canceled a top 10 show, which never
Hmm.
happens. Never
Hmm.
happens because
Why?
of
Was it
because
was
of
it
Gary's
Gary's
people.
was it Gary's
Gary's
show? Oh,
people.
it
Julie's
was
No,
Fish.
Gary's people.
Oh,
Gary's
Gary's people
people.
drove the network nuts. They wanted more, and the network's like, "Hey, we're giving you a lot. Let's just stay there." But here's the interesting part. But then I found out what Ricky Schroeder was making.
Hmm.
And we were like,
Hmm.
wow,
Yeah.
he should have been
Yeah.
getting a lot more. Sure had
oh
a piece of his
wow.
show.
Oh,
Oh
that's
And
interesting.
Silver
Oh,
wow.
Spoons was not top of different strokes,
no.
Hmm.
way
Hmm.
below.
Hmm.
So,
This
Wow.
was
but what was interesting was the shows that they had to pay the actors most money, which was our show, between me, Gary, and Conrad. So we never got to travel. Like Facts of Life went to like Hawaii, they went to France
oh
and Europe.
gosh.
We didn't get to go to France and Europe. They were like, you're gonna go to Universal Studios, which was the
Oh,
same lot we
good.
were shooting on. So it was like so, but it's today you could just make so much more out of something, and you can make something much more popular from just social media
Hmm.
alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a huge differentiator
Yeah.
right there. I think now the other thing is it's interesting is okay, you're talking about you did 8 years, so there's
Mhm.
22 episodes a year. So you've
28.
done
We
at
was
least
20
100.
doing our thing.
Okay,
It was 28
28.
That's so
episodes. Yeah.
crazy. Oh
Wow.
my
So
God.
yeah, so you did 190, 200
Yeah.
episodes, something, right? So now today, interestingly, if you're in a series that's really successful, maybe you're going to do 8 or 10 episodes, which means
Crazy.
if which you could go out then and do other
Yes. You
things
get like
because
four. Yeah.
any
Well,
series
now
is a
they
lot.
want you to do other things. Now
Sure,
they'd
of
rather
course.
you do it because they want you to because stay as popular as you can for your show.
Right. Right.
The
Right.
That's the
Right.
thing
impressions,
now.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
gaining impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
interesting.
like,
Fascinating world.
then and I think they say as long as shows are not competing against each other, it's fine. They don't care what you do.
Right,
What's
right.
interesting though is that, and we were saying this before we started rolling, is that I don't think an episode like The Wisdom of Solomon would be aired today. You wouldn't be able to make
No,
it.
I don't think so.
And the
I don't think you can make it.
the word was it.
Yeah, the
More than
word in the
once.
show.
And this is an example of how the word is so important to hear.
Yeah.
It's a lesson. It's there
Especially
for
with
a
what's going on
reason.
today in our world. It's crazy. It's crazy. Especially, what's so sad, I don't like to get political, but the whole DEI thing that they're stopping everywhere, a lot of
Yeah.
places, it's going to hurt
Yep.
women more than it hurts anybody. I don't think they
Absolutely.
realize that. Because you know how some of these men are, if they don't have to hire women, they won't. And look at it this way. If Kamala Harris would have been a dude, she'd be in office right now.
Agreed.
Well,
Because
also,
86% of black men voted against her too.
right.
They
And
just couldn't handle a woman.
and disabled people forget that disabled people
Yeah.
are under DEI.
Yes,
Wheelchair
yes. And not
ramps.
just that, so is veterans. Veterans are in DEI. So it's like you're shooting the foot of a whole bunch of people, man. And it's unfortunate, the sad part about it is we don't know where we're heading, but we know where we're gonna go to because everybody's about to fix this. We can't keep going this direction. It's nuts.
I was
Yeah, and it's also the white. I'm sorry, Allison. I was just going to say, in terms of why this episode wouldn't happen now, it's also the attempt to whitewash history, and that
Yeah.
if we teach kids this, then
Yeah.
it makes people look bad, and we don't want
Yeah.
to make people look bad, and
Right.
we're not going to have the hard hitting issues, and we're not going
Yeah.
to sort of get to the core of it.
Yep.
And what they're missing is just how important this is. What they're missing is the 6-year-old girl watching this episode going,
That's right.
why are they treating this guy like an animal?
Right, that's right. That's right.
People want to sugarcoat things, but it's the questions.
Yeah.
How many questions were asked in households when that was on? Hey,
That's
mom,
right.
I don't understand. Why
That's
are they
right.
being horrible? What does that mean? Well, what does that mean? What do they mean they owned him?
Yep.
What does that mean?
Oh, yeah.
That had to have been just an explosion in people's households.
yeah.
And what killed me during the show, watching it last night, was how many times in the show, oh no, things are different now. Things are going to change. It'll be different
Oh, yeah.
in the future. And I'm going, oh,
Right. Yeah. Didn't get quite different. Yeah.
So painful.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have that
It truly
wonderful moment
is.
at the end, Todd, where you talk about maybe in 100 years it'll be different. Of course, we are living.
Yes.
You're shooting this
Yes.
in that 100-year
Right?
period, and everybody understands.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. Todd, what do you do? What are you working on now? You live in Phoenix. How long have you lived
Yeah,
in
tell
Phoenix?
us.
I've lived in Phoenix for the last 2 years.
Okay.
No, 3 years. Going on 3 years because I've been married almost 3 years. Yeah. I got remarried, and my kids live in my house in LA in the San Fernando Valley, and I live in Arizona with my wife in another house. And I go to see my kids, my older kids, all the time. I'm going next week to see my older kids. But it's what makes it amazing is the fact that Arizona is so interesting. The police don't give you a second glance in Arizona.
nice.
It is hot, but I'm gonna tell you something. I don't have any problems in Arizona.
Really?
Nobody cares in Arizona, and the biggest thing that has to do with is this: everyone can carry a gun in Arizona. I'm not gonna say that's good for California, but in Arizona, nobody wants to start any trouble. Everybody's like, "I'm
It's
good."
interesting.
You walk away because trouble could lead to somebody getting shot.
Yikes.
So nobody wants to hang out with. The police just don't give you any mind. I haven't been pulled over once in Arizona. In LA, I get pulled over all the time.
True.
In Arizona, no,
Wow.
it just doesn't happen that way. They drive by and they look at you and they're like, mhm. As long as you ain't starting no big trouble, you all right. You know what I mean?
That's so
Interesting.
interesting. This is life
But
experience.
it is hot.
Todd, that you have that I've never had.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, people remember I was talking about this when I was a kid, and people thought it was me. I have been telling everyone the whole time how bad the police force was in LA, and no one believed me. They were all like, "Oh, that's just him causing trouble." Blah blah blah. He's a troublemaker actor. That blah. And then now with the videos of things, people are like, "Okay, well, I guess he was telling the truth."
I have to say,
Yeah.
I grew up in LA. We do have a reputation for way more pulling people over for, is that an expired tag? Is that taillight out? Than
Yeah.
a lot of places. It's weird. You wouldn't think
Yeah.
of LA being like that.
That's
but it
right.
is. And I
Yeah.
remember in the 80s, in the 90s, I had a couple friends say, I was going to come to your party, but I can't come to your neighborhood. And I said, what? And he said,
Yeah. Oh
your
yeah.
neighborhood is apparently illegal driving while black. And they said, I was
Yeah.
living in the don't drive while black neighborhood. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I said, what? And
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's
Oh
a
yeah.
thing. It's a thing.
We were told not to go to Simi Valley. I remember being a kid. See, okay, people wonder why those police officers got not guilty out there. Simi Valley is full of
Valley.
police officers' families, police officers' wives, and that's why. So of course the whole jury. That's why they wanted to move it there. The whole jury is going to be police officers. Of course they're going to get not guilty. But the interesting part, but what I do know about LA now is that we can speak up more now. We can film you making stupid mistakes. You're going to get in trouble. And now
Right.
with certain people, they don't want any issues with. Like me, they don't want any issues with me in LA. It's bad because I'm gonna get on TV and be like, doing my Little House impression. I've been sober 32 years and I'm doing right, and they just beat me. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, pay that man, pay that man.
Todd, do you want to be in the industry? I mean, do you want to be on the
I'm
show again? Do
I'm
you
right
want to act?
now working right now. My management team, my agents, we're working with Sony right now on a new show.
Great.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, working on a new show. It looks like it's really close. We just got our final piece yesterday, which is great. We just got our final piece. We met with him yesterday. I was in the car. We're having a meeting, a really serious meeting. I'm in the car, and the phone's like, and he said, "Well, give me some time." He called back within like an hour and says, "I want to be on that part of the show," and the studio's really excited about him. So that's going to help us a lot.
That's
Um,
so great. You're so beloved. I know
yeah,
people would just
thank you.
love
We
you.
want to go back to, like I said, we want to go back to television where that makes sense, where families can watch it again. We got to get back to that because it's what we're dealing with now, and it's just a bunch of heartaches in our country now. We're dealing with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
We need something to go back to, like all of our shows, where that people, when they had a bad day, they can go watch our show and go, "Oh, I feel better
Yeah.
now." You know what I mean?
And there's empathy and
Yes,
compassion
yes,
and yeah.
yes, yes. And I also have a podcast too. It's called Dang with my wife. Yeah,
Oh, that's
it's
great. Has it
comes out
launched?
every Tuesday.
Has it launched? Every
Yeah,
Tuesday.
it's
Okay.
launched. Comes out every Tuesday. Yeah,
Can
that's a
we all
fun one
can
because
we all be
my
on
wife
it?
is. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm on it with her. Yeah, I'm gonna get you guys on it. Don't worry,
You'll be
that's
on
what
it,
I'm
right?
playing. Yep, I'm gonna get you guys on it. My wife is Mormon, which is interesting. I'm not Mormon, but she is. Yeah, her family's all Mormon, which is hilarious because people think that Mormons are like this cult people, but they're not. They actually believe in Jesus Christ and like everyone else does. But it's just hilarious because I always tease them because you can't, if you're Mormon in religion, you can't drink coffee, and I'm like, well, I guess I ain't
Right.
joining because I love coffee.
Yeah.
I'll never get in.
No, no, no.
You can't be on a set
That
sitting
would
there
be the
like
deal breaker.
with no
Yes.
coffee. I'm like, that's a deal breaker for me. I said I love you guys, but it's a deal breaker.
This is so exciting though,
Yeah.
Todd. This is great.
Good for you. Now, Todd, interesting. Speaking of new shows, it's been announced that Netflix has picked up a reimagining of Little House. What do you think about
Really?
that? Do you think that
They
can, yeah, do you think
are?
that can, yeah, they are.
Wow. Well,
Like
who's going to
going
be in
back
it?
back to the books, back to the
No one knows
books.
who's going to be in it yet.
No
No,
one
it's going to be
knows?
more true to the books. So not
It's going
Oh,
back to the very
Like
beginning.
when
Yeah.
Laura was like the
okay.
baby. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think
yeah.
it'll
They'll go back
work.
to the,
That ought to be quite
Yeah,
interesting. I think it'll work. I do think it'll
I
work.
agree.
It definitely will. For
I
there's
sure.
a
agree.
there's a lot of negativity online. People saying it's so perfect. Don't screw around with this.
Well, that is
Don't
the
back.
other problem. You could possibly ruin, you know, what the show was.
But I think that's also because all of the headlines were misleading because they said it was a reboot
Yeah,
of
it's not a
Little House
reboot.
the series, and
Right.
it's not. It's a totally
Wait, let me ask you a
new.
It's just
question.
a
Was
new
that little
adapt.
black guy? Was the black character in the book?
No. Oh,
No.
I
No,
didn't think so.
Dr.
is
Tan,
Solomon in the book?
the black
No.
doctor
Oh,
is in the
Dr.
He
book.
was,
Tane
right?
was.
Dr.
Okay.
Tan's in the book. The
Doctor's in
black
the book.
doctor who
Yes.
works on the reservation. He is in the book. He has a great part. He
Okay.
saves their lives. He saves the Eagles'
Yes.
lives. But yeah, there's no
Yes.
Solomon. There's no Solomon.
There's
No
no Solomon.
Solomon.
I know. I know. I know.
that's why
How
I'm
could
just a
that be?
TV Little House person. I can't. I need Solomon in my life.
Yes.
I can't go by the
That's
book.
right. That's
I
it.
need
That's
a
interesting
Solomon.
though. That's interesting.
Um,
Yeah, 'cause they can see. That's the thing about it is that that type of show you're trying to recreate all the characters that could hurt the show for what it all or make your show a lot more successful on people streaming it. Be that one or the
Yeah.
other.
Right.
right. Exactly.
I think I say that it's a long bar and there's room for everybody.
How many seasons did
There's
Little House go again? How many seasons?
it was 9 full
Okay.
seasons and an abbreviated 10th season.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that means that well, you don't have to worry. Netflix only goes 4 seasons, and that's usually it. I'll tell you something interesting though about our show. So we should have. I ran into one of the vice presidents of NBC a few years ago, and I asked him what happened. Why was the show canceled? And that's what he told us. He said that Gary's people just were driving him crazy, so we got canceled and went to ABC. But on NBC, I was told by Brandon Toddercroft and all those guys that we would have gone probably 14, 15 years. They would have gave us a grace period of like
Wow.
5 years, 6 years,
Wow.
because we saved the network from going under.
Would you have wanted to have done that?
Oh, I would have done that
Were
because
you still
the
all
amount
in?
of because after a certain amount of time on a show, the money you make, it's just so easy. It's like by secondhand nature. You just get up, you go to your job, you do your thing, and you leave. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's really really easy.
it's
Yeah.
life
Yeah,
making
yeah,
money that you are. It's
yeah,
your life. I mean,
yeah,
it really becomes your
yeah,
No, it's very powerful.
yeah.
It's very powerful. Listen, we are chasing the clock here.
Okay,
So
Todd,
much fun.
wow, man. Thank you so
I
much
appreciate
for
for having me.
The wisdom of Solomon, again, it endures. It will continue to endure and make such an impact in this world. And we're just so grateful for you and for it.
Thank
And
you so much. I enjoyed
yeah,
it.
good stuff. Anyway, we will see you next time. Join us on Patreon, and Todd will be
Yes.
here. And we'll see you. Bob, go get the wig. Let's fly, everybody.
Go Birds!
We're running down the hill. Okay, we'll do it from Philadelphia.